Hey guys, Metatrends Mark here, author of Metatrends and the Next Economy. A friend of mine recently asked me who should be reading this book. Honestly, it's anyone between the ages of 14 and 84. The real deal, though, is you want to be reading it through a special lens. So I say that each of the readers break down into 1 of 6 categories, of which we will do a video for all of them separately. For this one, we're going to be talking to parents of college-educated kids. So that are recent graduates or soon to be recent graduates. And the reason why I feel connected to you is I'm the parent of college-educated sons, first of which is in college now, the second of which is about to start college next year. And I want to make sure that my sons are pointed in the right direction. If you hang in till the end of the video, I'll walk you through a campaign that will virtually guarantee that CEOs will be clamoring for your child's resume as soon as they graduate. So the dirty secret of universities is that they teach proficiency in your child's chosen field of study. However, what they don't do is they don't teach forecasting about each of those industries that they may or may not be working in, which ones of those will flourish in the next decade and a half. That's where this book comes in. In Chapter 8, it's the summation of 1,500 companies going through the same exercises of identifying the key industries that will thrive in the next 15 years. Now that's knowledge. Knowledge is power. But in truth, actually, knowledge in action is power. So how can your child utilize this to guarantee that CEOs will be clamoring for their resume? The first step is actually to turn to something called freeerisa.com. This is a database of ERISA-based retirement plans, like 401ks. So if you're the custodian of a 401k, your information is public knowledge. So there's a database of all the 401k's custodians in there. They typically are privately held companies who are difficult to get the attention of. What ends up happening is you now have this database. That's the first lens you do. You identify the entire database in a zip code that you want your child to live in. Then you look at them through this lens. Are they one of the companies that will thrive in the next 15 years? Those are the targets. So you'll end up with a short list of each of the companies in that zip code that makes sense to send resumes to. But prior to sending the resume and prior to graduation, which would be a great idea, is actually to send handwritten notes. So this is the campaign. You send handwritten notes to the CEOs or CFOs in each of those businesses. Now you send 13 of them over the entirety of a quarter. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 20% of them will actually turn and call the phone number that's included in that letter. In fact, what we're going to do is do a video just on actually how to do this. What should each of the letters actually be stated in the actual letter? And then this is where, unfortunately, some of the work happens for parents. Likelihood of your child knowing how to handwrite is not high. So the reason why handwriting makes so much sense is most of the CEOs are my age. So if you look at this is gray, and most of the graybeards value handwriting. In fact, I was in Orlando yesterday in front of 15 companies, and I asked the CEO, when's the last time you received a handwritten letter? He said it has to be 15 years ago. In fact, there are no firewalls that stop letters like that, like there were back in our day. So the letter will reach the CEO. The CEO will read it. I asked him, what did you feel when you actually read the letter? He said it felt special. I said, what did you think about the person who took the time to actually write that letter? And they said they seemed rare. And this is just a maxim that I've learned over the years. Rarity plus usefulness equals value. So more rare, more useful equals more valuable. So the fact that your child is going to have a college degree or maybe has one right now, that makes them useful. But are they rare? Do they stand out? Handwritten letters will make sure that they do. In fact, what happens in the letters, what you're basically asking the old wise sage CEO is, if you were me and you were in college wanting to break into your field once you got out of college, what would you major in? What would you focus on? What would make you rare? And there's something about middle-aged men, which is the majority of all CEOs. Once you hit a certain age, you want to give back. You want to bestow your wisdom on the younger generation so they can benefit from it. It's a way of leaving the world a better place. Legacy is important to people my age. And what will happen is this is how you can tap into their desire to leave a legacy and Have your child be that rare person who would be the sponge absorbing all that wisdom. You do that to enough CEOs over the course of a year, you'll have 40 or so CEOs clamoring to get your child's resume once they graduate. What I'll do is a follow-up video on how to actually write those letters, what each one of them should actually state, how to actually help your child hand address, hand stamp those envelopes, and make sure they're sending out 10 a week for an entire quarter. I know it's work, but boy, they'll be rare. So, it's Metatrends and the Next Economy is the book. Happy hunting. Thanks for watching.